It seems like our current economic system isn't set up for everyone. It's not equal. It seems like Black people are at the lower spectrum of the economic system. Even if they're even included in the economic system at all, I feel like they're at the lower part of it.
They're all Black people, of course, who are quote unquote successful, who are able to take care of their children and will be able to leave something behind for their children. A large number of people of African descent in this country don't have the same access to wealth that their white peers have.
Most statistics around Black wealth say that the Black wealth gap between African Americans and white Americans is about a 20-to-1 ratio. And a lot of that has resulted from the foreclosure crisis, the lack of jobs, access to quality jobs. So we're in a dire situation presently.
When your starting point is less than someone else, you don't have certain resources, you don't have people telling you certain things, it's harder for you to get to a place of, building wealth.
The descendants of enslaved Africans, they were at this point are simply a group of people that are designed to consume and to be a labor force. And in that equation, you'll never be able to achieve wealth.
You pay your bills, you get credit, you live on credit, and then you just a slave to the credit. To me, you don't make enough money on a job to actually pay your bills, save, and invest.
Some of our power perhaps has been lost when we become more and more dependent on large organizations to hire us, which they still don't.
African Americans with the same jobs still on average make 65 to 70 cents of a white male dollar. So with those kinds of statistics, it's only obvious that we would be in the position that we're in today.
I mean, people always say pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but it's hard to even do that if you don't have bootstraps.
There are a number of historical reasons why Black people in general tend to have less assets.
Black people had thriving businesses and thriving systems like the Black Wall Street. That was a terrific thing, it was beautiful.
There are less Black-owned businesses now due to the fact that, there was integration, and thus, a lot of businesses were, taken out or just failed.
The only thing that occurred during the civil rights legislation of 1965 and 1968 was social integration. There was never financial/economic integration.
Our families maybe didn't have access to a lot of the resources, so we couldn't really go back to our parents or to our grandparents and ask questions about what we should do as a business owner.
We've been robbed of our own economic opportunities, of our own income, from slavery to sharecropping to a very long history of wage theft in the Industrial Revolution.
We're so dependent because once upon a time we were chattel. The cow doesn't grow grass. By that virtue, the cow is dependent on the resources that are there. It doesn't create its own grass.
Western society actually imposes individualism, and in the Black community, I think that's what happened. Understanding that we could actually make some advances, but we really weren't making advances without each other.
We've always, as Black folks, been entrepreneurial because we had to be in the beginning, but then we realized that was our power.
That whole image of the Black businessman. So it's really important for the youth to see and have that image in their mind so that they can understand and know that they can build their own institution, their own business, their own company, their own enterprise, and become who they want to be, and sooner or later become financially independent.
We didn't have a choice. 30, 40 years ago, we weren't being hired. My mother, when she worked as day labor, meaning she went to work to clean other people's houses, she was an entrepreneur because that gave her the flexibility to raise me. It gave her the income that she needed.
Actually, African Americans are more entrepreneurial than most other groups. So overwhelmingly, it's not a matter of fear of starting businesses that stops African Americans from starting businesses. We start businesses at numbers higher than the general population as well. It's that hump of, do we have the cash to make payroll? Are we able to employ more than one person? It's not a matter of, do we want to do it or can we do it? It's, do we have the money to make it last?
Black-owned businesses or small businesses, period, are a key to all communities, because that's the basis of where you're going to find employment, you're going to find direction. They're the sounding board for the community.
Entrepreneurship is kind of like what we haven't focused our efforts and energy on. We're going to government, we've begged, we've asked, we've marched, we've protested, etc. And I think if we put that type of energy into economic development as a strategy, that would build us up as a community to actually develop an economy.
There are a lot of black-owned businesses in Baltimore. There are restaurants, there are barbershops, there are beauty salons, tea galleries, art galleries, clothing stores, auto mechanic shops, just lawyer offices.
One of the things I think that within our communities that we don't really give enough support to our black-owned businesses, which is key.
We take our dollars outside of our community. We're running down Towson, we're running down to the gallery. There's not that many black-owned businesses there.
We give it to the next man. Like, we'll take it to a Korean store, we'll take it to some food chain instead of supporting our local black-owned restaurants.
They were saying that the white man's ice is supposed to be colder than the black man's ice. So you get, even though we both have the same product, you would go and get the white man's ice and I got the same ice.
Mindset is a challenge. The idea that our own businesses aren't as good as, aren't to the same quality as white businesses, but I would say overwhelmingly that is a myth. The real culprit is that our businesses are often not capitalized.
It's essential and it's vital that black people have their own economic strategy, because if we don't, how are we gonna make it?
There's kind of a tension, right? Because black businesses are often modeled on their quote-unquote white business counterparts.
It's not made for us to succeed. It's made for us to stay right where we are. Not doing nothing, not really owning nothing.
My grandfather, helped everybody. People came to people's houses and they ate. We shared food. We did things together. So to me, that was cooperative economics, looking back at that. And we were able to help each other. When somebody didn't have a car or something, he drove, and they didn't need a car.
Black people have been practicing cooperative economic development for well over 100 years.
Collective ownership and cooperative ownership, we know that wealth leads from that.
Starting businesses with different models is about spreading risk. It's about increasing the degree to which other black people can get paid, and it's also about showing people other models of how we can develop businesses to the benefit of all of us as opposed to just individuals.
We need to take back our education system and teach our kids how to be business owners.
I think first we need to teach you about the history and about their past, because it's like you need to see some example of that to somehow feel empowered to feel like you could do this.
Collectively, we have to all give back, and not everybody can give the same amount of money. So you give back through your time. Everybody has the same amount of time.
Middle-class folks like myself are committed and live in and are connected to low-income communities in a deep way, and that is the kind of aid and support and solidarity that's necessary.
You can help a community thrive just by how you walk down the street. If you walk down the street and you're doing something positive, that 7 or 8-year-old that's watching you, that person may see you as a role model, and that changes their decision, and then it just happens over and over again, and communities begin to thrive because they see positive people doing well.
At the end of the day, discrimination is real, and that has to be tackled in order for our businesses to really reach the kind of potential that they have and that folks have vision for.
If you just came out of prison and you may had a record And you never know what your situation may have been. I'm the type you could come to me and I can overlook some of that and I'll give you another chance at life.
We gotta show and open up a door for those who have been sharing their money with us and supporting us, because if it wasn't for the community, it wouldn't be a you.
It's a matter of the heart, and it's a matter of the imagination. And once those two can get together, then you can really do some changing in the community.
We must stick together in order to fight this battle. A battle that some doubt is against us. We must support each other in our endeavors and our dreams. Success may seem far, but nothing is what it seems. Although my skin and your skin has been negatively deemed, anything is possible when we work, learn, and grow as a team.